Good morning, friends. It's July 19th, and I just wanted to make a quick video because we are in the midst of some pretty intense energies, and I wanted to check in and let everyone know some of the things that are going on, that have been going on, and maybe give a little heads up explanation as to why you might be feeling the way you're feeling. Because the energies are a lot right now. We have been in a literal gauntlet of solar flares and CMEs being released from the sun. The Earth isn't taking, a direct energetic hit from all of them. Some of them are glancing blows, but we still feel that energy. The Earth still feels that energy. And so, we have that incoming solar energy, the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's energetic pulse, her heartbeat, her energy field, that responds to the solar flare. And so we're getting it, coming at us from the sky. We're getting it coming through us from the Earth. And it can be a lot sometimes, especially if you're sensitive. I think, sensitives are a little more aware of it. I think people who aren't sensitive still feel it, and they just think it's something else, like, oh, I'm having a flare of XYZ, or I'm extra headachy, I must be stressed, or I'm extra tired, why am I so tired? And a lot of that can be the excess solar activity that we've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks. It just feels like it's never ending. And then we just had the nodal shift. So the moon nodes just shifted. They've been for the last 18 months, they've been in Taurus and Scorpio, which are my nodes. I just finished my nodal return, thank you very much, on Monday. And those nodes wrung out the last bit of me, let me tell you. It feels good to kind of be in some new energy. So on Monday, they shifted from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra. And that's a whole new energy. So if you are, if you know those are your nodes, you are in your nodal return. We go through the nodal return every like 18 and a half years. We go through a nodal return, and the nodes are interesting in astrology. And a lot of people don't know about the nodes. I didn't know anything about the nodes until this year, when I happened upon a video and I realized that I was in the midst of my third nodal return. And and it was a doozy. And so the North Node is about purpose. It's your soul's path. It's what you're here to learn and grow into. And your South Node is about your past. So that could be, childhood patterns and beliefs and stuff, and it can be past lives. I have, because of who I am and what I believe, I go past life. It is the South Node is the kind of the culmination of everything you've learned in your past lives, the energy you worked in those lives, and it's what you've mastered in your past life. And because you've mastered that, in this life, you're here to let that go and manifest your North Node. And that's what you're here to work on. So one is your future, your present and future, and one is your past. And so understanding that, and where you are and what your nodes are, I think can be really helpful in figuring out certain aspects of your life and why you do the things that you do, and and how you can get more on track with fulfilling your heart's purpose in your soul's purpose in this lifetime. So it's worth looking into. And so that shifted on Monday. So that's a big shift in energy. And and it doesn't just affect people who are in their nodal return or who have those nodes, those particular nodes. So everyone is going to feel that Aries North Node energy of this is what we're bringing in. We're going to have 18 months, a year and a half of bringing in that Aries North Node energy, and 18 months of letting go of our patterns and beliefs and the way that we have manifested that Libra energy. So it affects all of us. It just affects people who are in those natal positions a little more deeply. So it's worth looking into. And there's a gal on YouTube. I think I'll put her link in the comments or in the description or whatever. I don't know how to use YouTube, obviously. But I believe her channel is called Owning Authenticity. And she has a whole series on the nodes and all. She's amazing. I love her channel. And so if you want to learn more about the nodes and what that means for you in your life, I really recommend her channel. And I'll put a link down in the comments so that you can go check her out. Okay, so what I really wanted to talk about today, and I'm going to loop this back into the solar flares because it's relevant, is on July 23rd through September 4th, Venus, the planet of love, and ease, and even she rules money too. She's going to go retrograde. And retrograde periods for me are periods of review. They're a chance to look back at what we've accomplished, what we've learned, what we've experienced, and to see if we have actually learned those lessons and are ready to move on to something new. It's a review. And so when Venus goes retrograde, a lot of times people are like, ooh, your ex is going to come back into your life. And, and sometimes that's true. Sometimes old flames, old partners, old friends that we've lost touch with, old love can come back. And, it comes back for like a reassessment. Like, is there something still here? Is this done? Is it not done? So a lot of times people will get back into old relationships, and it can be good, it can be bad, it all depends on what energy you're working with that. But it doesn't have to just be that. We're not going to spend the next month and a half or whatever it is, like looking over our shoulder for our creepy ex. What about using this time as an opportunity to reassess how we love in general? Thinking about how we've grown internally in our own process, in our own self-care, in our own loving of ourselves. How have we grown? How have we changed? What have we learned about ourselves that is helping us to move forward and manifest? I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what is making my eyes purple. It's kind of freaking me out. And I don't know what it is. Okay, whatever. I'm going to ignore it. So thinking about what we've learned about ourselves and how we love ourselves and how we care for ourselves, and how that serves us in moving forward. Does it serve us? What we've been doing serving us? Did we learn the lessons, or are we still spinning in self-doubt? Are we still spinning in that negative self-talk? Or are we developing a more loving internal monologue? Just kind of really looking at all of those pieces and reassessing where we're going, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, reassessing what we want. We might reassess our relationships that we're in, whether they're friendships, work relationships, partnerships, marriages, just, regular friendships. We might be reassessing, those things and trying to decide, is this relationship meeting my needs? Are my needs the same as they were when we first got together, or, in the last couple of years, or have I grown and changed and we've grown apart? Are we growing together in the relationship? Are we helping each other grow? Or, are we hindering each other's growth? And so it's just a time for reassessment of all things loving. And that can be hard. It can be hard if you're in a relationship and things are not great, or they're like meh, and that can be a hard period of reassessment or of assessment. Like, is this working for me? Is this working for us? And so sometimes breakups can happen during this Venus retrograde, because we realize that, this particular partnership has run its course. And it's not good or bad. It just is what it is. I think a lot of times in this life, we attract the relationships that we need for a particular season of our lives, for something that we need to learn about ourselves, for something they need to learn about themselves. And ideally, our relationships will all work. Let me see how I want to say this. All of our relationships ideally should be working toward teaching us how to love ourselves better. Where does that land when I say that? Because I know a lot of times, people are like, oh, relationships, it's love, it's sex, it's ooh, it's gooey, it's, it's energy, it's I'm all aflutter, right? And it's all about that excitement, and it's all about, all of these other things. But have we ever stopped to consider that the partners that we choose are here to teach us how to love ourselves better? Because there's that old adage, right, where it says, well, you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. But I don't think that's true. I think sometimes we need that mirrored to us, because not everyone in this life grew up with parents who were able to mirror that to us, or caregivers, or friends or siblings. We all have grown up with some varied level of emotional love kind of dysregulation, where we just, that internal monologue is not a positive thing. We don't automatically, once we emerge from our childhood and get into like dating age and relationship age, we don't automatically love ourselves. And I feel like that is a really hopeless kind of statement for a lot of people who are interested in having a relationship, because I get not everybody is interested in having a relationship, and that's fine. But for those people who do want to partner and walk through this life with another person, hearing the words or hearing the statement, you're not going to find love until you love yourself, can be really disheartening, and it can feel really hopeless. And that's really hard, because I believe that our relationships teach us how to love ourselves. And each relationship that we go through should be building on that love, right? Because if we love someone and they love us, and we're like, I love and respect this person and they love me, and what do they love about me? And then you start feeling and seeing all these different things that other person loves about you, and they're reflecting that back to you, and you're like, oh, I love that too. And now you have all of these little parts about you that you didn't even acknowledge before, and you're like, oh, I love that too. I love that about me. that's special, that's good, that, I love that. And so now you have more self-love, and so you learn those lessons from one another, and then sometimes your relationship falls apart. You go your separate ways, and then you partner with someone else, and then all of a sudden this other person is like, I love all of these other things about you, and you're like, wow, I love those things too, and you love yourself a little bit more, and it's magic. It can be magic. Now I realize that not all relationships do that, but ideally they can. I like to hold the potential. I like to hold that space for that opportunity to happen. And all of our young relationships are kind of like building blocks to, really honing in who we are, how we love, how we like to be loved, and, how we love ourselves. So that, when we're ready, we can find someone that, that will walk with us on that path, like two strong rivers flowing toward the ocean. So, yeah. So Venus retrograde can be about that as well. Kind of looking back at past relationships and assessing, what did you get from that relationship? What did you learn? What was your golden nugget from that relationship? It can't be all bad, right? It can't be all bad. You wouldn't get into a relationship with someone if it completely sucked from the get-go. You wouldn't do it, right? There has to be something that you learned about yourself, something that you learned to love about yourself from that relationship. And I think it's really important to take stock of that, because it's really easy for that negative self-talk to just take over. And we start to feel like we're not worthy and that we don't love ourselves. And it's just not true. It's just not true. And we just need to reassess. And I think Venus retrograde wants us to stop and sit in our heart space and really soak in all of the things that we love about ourselves, that we love about this life. Just soak it in. Soak in all of those lessons that you've learned about love, about loving yourself, about loving your family, about loving your partner, about loving your friends, loving your animals, loving this earth, loving the journey. Really just use this period of time to sit with that. And I think the solar flares kind of play into that. And I just want to talk about that for a little bit. So the solar energy, right? The sun, it's divine masculine, right? It's a divine masculine energy. And the earth is divine feminine. She's our great mother. And I really feel that the solar flares, because the solar flares come from the sun, they reach out like rays of sun energies, like reaching to the earth, and then the earth responds with her Schumann resonance just kind of fluttering. And I mean, doesn't it feel like the sun's making love to the earth? Does anyone else see that or feel that, or am I just crazy? That's what I think. And we're their divine children, and we're the product of that love, and we feel that energy. And if we can be very centered and grounded, can we allow that divine masculine energy, that pure solar energy, to come through us into the earth and feel that intense love connection in our hearts? We can feel the love of our Divine Father and our Divine Mother coming together in our hearts. We are a product of that love. And I feel like they're trying to realign us to our hearts, to our heart soul essence, to our true nature and purpose as spiritual beings walking on this planet, and our true mission and our true path, which is love. So, yeah, those are my thoughts for today. Venus goes retrograde July 23rd. So just a couple days, few days. And she will be in retrograde until September 4th. Please, you're welcome to comment, ask me questions, and I will put some links in the comments for you to learn more about your nodes if you're interested in that. Like, comment, share, right? I think when I say that, people actually like, comment, and share. And if I don't say that, they don't. So like, comment, and share. And I wish you a beautiful and loving Venus retrograde. And it is my intention that we all have our heart's greatest desires fulfilled. Blessed be.